Hi, I'm Vicky. I'm a knitter and crocheter living in Derby in the United Kingdom. And welcome to my first podcast. I've been encouraged by some friends to do this. What I would say is the name of the podcast, I know it's Toria. That is named in honour of my two nieces who have chosen to alter my name that way. So, what have I been making recently? I finished 2 items this year so far. The first was a belated Christmas present for a friend, and that has actually been gifted, so I don't have it here to show anyone. The second was a bit of a mammoth project, as many of my friends in my knitting groups know, having seen it over the last 5 years, and it was a temperature blanket for my sister and brother-in-law. If I get a chance, I'll try and put a picture in here. But it's basically was started on their wedding day and ended on their first anniversary. The actual blanket is here, look. So you can just see, this is the size of it. Yeah, it's big. You can see these squares here, you can just see one here. So the inner colour here is the coldest temperature on that day, and the outer colour is the warmer temperature, and it just goes in rows. I have used this green as a neutral colour in the blanket, just to break up each square. It also meant that I could do a crochet join just to join the squares together because it's king size. The pictures, to give you an example, are taken in our clinic waiting room, and it pretty much filled the floor there. So all these yarns are King Cole Cotton Soft, and as I say, I used a chart. This is my chart. So it just shows the temperature and the colour, just so my sister's got it for reference. And this has the colours cherry, hot pink, lavender, orchid, rose, blush, apricot, silky, heather, silver, midnight, sky, Saxon, navy. And then I've used celery as the green colour. Some of these are actually discontinued colours now. So this is the final temperature blanket for her, because I've already done 2. One for each of my nieces from the month of their birth for 12 months. So yeah, that's the only thing I finished this so far. Basically at the beginning of January I had to do all the joining and, well, the crochet joining, I'd sewn them already, and the edging. And I'm seeing her next week, so it will be gifted. And it's gone. So then what else have I been doing? I've been taking part in the 12 cast on knit along run by Ange from Yarn and Yarns. So I actually started on Boxing Day, and on the side here I've got all my projects. So I've so far cast on 10. I've got plans to do the last 2 this weekend. The date today, I want to say, is, I should know this, I think it's about the 25th of January. So my first project was cast on Boxing Day, and is using the King Cole Cotton Soft again. This is how far I've got, not very far. And it's going to be a simple net warmer for a friend of my mum's. So it's self-drafted pattern. It's got an I-cord edge, as you can just see there, which I've knitted on. It's got a little bit of tapering at this end just to give it a bit of shaping. And what she wants is a buttonhole effectively to tuck the end through, so it just goes around the neck. It's got a little progress creeper from the last time I was working on it. This is a butterfly. This is one of a set of about 20 something of these butterflies I've got that were a Christmas present from my sister. So I'm just going to move that up to where we're up to. Again, I'd like to get this finished when I see my mum next weekend, so she's got one ready. She has asked for several. Whether she gets them for a friend's birthday in March, I'm not sure, to be honest. I'll do my best, but I have so limited knitting time, and yeah, it doesn't always get done. So that's the first one. I'm just going to throw it on the floor. Number 2 is a secret project I'm not showing at the moment, and that's because one of my local yarn shops has a competition every year to knit or crochet an item between the 1st of November and the 28th of February. That's the last possible date to hand in, and this is my entry for that. So I'm keeping that very quiet. It is using an advent from last year, and I will show you when it's finished, hopefully, if I do another one of these. So that's the first two. The third project, no, it's that one, is in this bag that I bought at the Christmas yarn show, and I want to say it's from Ginny Rousseau's. I think that's where I got it from. Yes, Jimmy Rousseau's. And it's actually using yarn I bought at the Christmas yarn show as well. Oh, that's where that, okay. So you can just see the colours there. It's got quite a lot of colours in it. I will say there's a bit of a theme with these. So this is the November Mist. I don't know if you can see the detail there. Can't really see in the dark, but it's got cabling detail on. And it's, as I say, it's the November Mist fingerless mitts, and I can't remember. Let me just have a look. Sorry, I'm just looking on my Knit Companion. This is by Wendy Gagnon. I'm debating whether I extend this into being more of a full glove rather than the fingerless mitt, but we'll see. And I say that's living in this bag. And the yarn is by Creative Anarchy, which is a bit, label's a bit worn now. And it's their Lombardy August Club from last year, I presume. 60% silk, superwash merino, 20% silk, 20% yak. And as I say, that was bought at the Christmas wool show as well. So that's project number 3. That brought us to New Year's Day. And on New Year's Day, I cast on a pair of socks. So I'm not quite finished these yet. I have finished the first sock, and it's there. And the second sock, I have just got this morning to the stage where I'm about to do the toe. And this is in the Tutti Frutti colourway from Yarnsmiths Merino. So, yeah, shade 2G030. My goal with my socks this year is to enter them into the Socks and You Know It Knit Along run by Amanda over at Little Lycac. I entered last year, and as I say, this is the first pair for this year. I'm also aiming to do a second pair with my leftover yarn this year, as my younger niece, who is now 4, absolutely loves her hand knit socks, to the point that when I gave her a pair at Christmas, they went straight on her feet. And the previous pair I'd made as a bit of a trial, well, they're never off her feet apart from when she's at school. So my plan is to try and get a box of socks knit for her for next Christmas by doing one a month with leftovers, because she's only little. They don't take a lot of yarn. They don't take a lot of time either, really. So that's that one. Then I come on to project number, that was project 5. So project 5 is a little bit of a bigger project and is a double knit cardigan. It's this pattern here from, it's got a bit creased in the bag already. And this is from King Cole. I bought the pattern at Black Sheep Wools just after Christmas. My mum lives very close. It's very tempting every time I'm up there to go. I have no plans next weekend, but I might still go. I'm not using the yarn they recommend, and I'm probably going to leave off this bit at the side here, this detailing, because I like the shape of the cardigan. I'm not so fussed about that bit. And that is going to be in a mixture of yarns that seem to have already got themselves entangled in my bag. So I'm using a grey yarn as my base, and this is the grey. You can just see it there. And this is Emma's yarn, and it's a merino cotton blend in the denim colourway. I'm going to stripe that with 4 other yarns, one of which is a real mess, and this morning I've discovered need sorting out. The other 3 are not so bad. So the first one, I can't remember the order of these, that's week 3. Week 2, 3 and 2, week 1, so we have 1, 2, 3, and week 4, which has got itself tangled. So you can just see the 4 together. See if I can hold them a bit better. like that. And this is the Truly Hooked yarn from their 4-week advent from last year. I've really not done very much on this one at all. Let's see if I can get the needle to come out with what's on it. I have managed to do all of not even 10 rows of rib at the moment, and I'm just started on the back section, so there's quite a long way to go before I even need to worry about the colours. And this is actually in a Truly Hooked bag. It's just a big tote bag, just holds the yarn really well. I love a lot of her colours, and in fact the next project is also in her yarn. So number 6 was a bit of an experiment, a bit of a play around, and it's some leftover yarn. It's also using scraps. So in 2023 I had the Truly Hooked 10 grams double knit advent calendar, and it was the daily one I had then as opposed to the weekly one I had this last year. And I knit the Candy Mountain Cow, which I love, I wear a lot, but I had about 3 grams of each, 2 or 3 grams of each colour left. I was like, I've paid a lot for an advent, I want to use every scrap I can. So I decided, at the time I had this idea that I could make some sort of fingerless gloves with the leftovers, but didn't really take it anywhere at the time because I'd just used the yarn. I wanted a break from it, and I had so many other ideas last year. So we have, I'm being very careful about how I hold this because this is the first glove, and what I did was I chose the 10 colours I wanted for my fingers and thumbs, and I then alternated one to each glove, so they're not going to match but they're going to tone together. And then the other colours I've gone down here. I have only got 5 in on the hand, unfortunately, of the 7 I wanted to, but I've chosen which colours I like best, and I've left out a couple of the yellows which I'm not so keen on. What I actually wanted to do was make these a really super warm glove with double knitting yarn, which so what I've done on the inside is held, you can just see it's got a bit of a halo to it, and that's from holding a mohair with yarn on the inside of the glove here, and that was a Wendy Air that I picked up at my local yarn shop. So yeah, I'd like to get the other 2 fingers done on this one and get onto the second glove of these. To be honest, it's sort of not been a priority really, because I wanted to cast everything else on, and it's got to the fiddly fingers. So it really just needs me to sit down for a couple of hours, get those fingers done. Once I get on the second glove again, it's going to zoom up until I get to that point. So yeah, that's what I'd like to do with that. It's probably a bit more of a priority than some of the other projects, but at the same time, we'll see where we go. So that's 6. 7 is in this bag here. This is by Rosie's Moments and has a little worry worm that I made last year. One of the other things I do is I'm a Ranger Leader, which is for girls aged 14 to 18, and last year all the girls in my unit were about to do GCSEs and A-levels, and I made a load of those for them. I wanted to make sure they all got colour choice, so I got the last one that was left over. But in this bag is this project, which you can just see, I hope. And this is the back of a cardigan, and it's the Louder cardigan by the Crayabea. It is in a merino yarn. I honestly don't know any more than that, because the yarn was actually, it's 500 grams of this yarn, it's double knit, and I bought it at Buxton Wool Gathering last year with a view of making a grey cardigan. It's a Millens type stall. I've had other bits from him in the past. Yeah. And as I say, this is an all over cabled cardigan. And I'm going to make the V-neck because I'm not keen on things being tight around my neck. And one of the things I noticed I lack in my wardrobe is some neutralish cardigans that can go with a lot of my coloured tops. Yes, I've got this one, but this is very oversized and gets a bit too big sometimes. So that was number 7. Number 8 is, the pattern for the gloves is also the same pattern as I'm using for the hat, and that's this Sirdar pattern, 5840. Sorry, some reflection from the window opposite me, and it's a basic hat and gloves pattern. I found a friend of mine recommended it. It's a really good basic pattern. So I started this the other week. This is being done here. So this is the hat. I've done all the rib. I have just started doing stocking stitch, and I think I've done 1 row. I had to steam through the rib because I needed the needles for something else. So yeah, I've just done the first row of stocking stitch and put it to one side to do other things. This is a combination of 2 yarns. This is some very deep stash alpaca. I think it's by the Mulberry Dyer. Well, at least that's what it says on my Ravelry. Goodness knows how long I've had it in my stash. I know I bought it at Woolfest, and I know it wasn't the last time we went there. I used to go every year and stay with friends locally, so gives you an idea. So that's the alpaca. Then I'm holding that with, I don't want this to collapse because I'm centre pulling it. This is a Happy Crow yarn. That's the tag there. That I bought at Buxton last year. And actually, so that doesn't collapse, it's being held in the sheep tote, which was from Rosie's Moments. And I've had that a few years. So this is a double knit and an alpaca I'm holding together, so I get a really dense, I wanted a really solid dense fabric for this hat, and that's what I'm getting, which I think is why I got fed up with it after the rib, because it was a little bit hard on my hands holding double knit and alpaca together. And I think it's about a 4-ply alpaca on 3.25 needles. Was not fun. I've moved up to the 4mm now, so hopefully I can whiz through this, because I can't actually progress some of my other projects, so I get these needles free. So yeah, again, that's, I'm hoping, going to be quite a quick one, because when I pick it up, it is just round and round for about 8 inches. So it's also the sort of thing that I'd take to a knit group, because again, I can just sit and knit on it. Although, as I say, it does hurt my hands after a little while. So that's that one. So then we come to number 9. This was a bigger cast on. So a lot of my projects are on my Knit Companion. They're not patterns on Knit Companion. They're not printed, so I don't have them to show. But this is the, let's see if I can hold this up and you can see it, Traveller hoodie by Andrea Mowry. However, I'm making it longer. When I looked last year at what I wore from what I'd got knitted, and what clothes I chose to wear that weren't my knitwear, a lot of the time I throw jeans and a hoodie on, and I just wanted a hoodie knit basically. So I was looking. So this has a little bit of work on it. You can just see it does look a little bit loose at the minute because I'm using a 4-ply, not a sport weight, but using the same needles. But that's because, one, I like quite a loose knit. Oh, in fact, that's the right way around, sorry. And 2, this yarn is from Attic Spin Dye. Hold it, because it was in their set bargain bucket at Yarndale last year, and it's called Midnight Mountain, and it's a mixture of merino, nylon and kid mohair. So when I did a bit of a swatch, it does bloom quite a bit, so I think it's still going to be a nice warm layer. It's got these beautiful colours in it. You can sort of just see the colours there. So if you look at the colours on the ball, there's a whole lot more colour in it, and it's really, I like how it's coming out. I've just got about 27-30 centimetres of knitting this pattern now straight until I split for. So the measurements for it are actually taken from one of my favourite hoodies to wear, because I was like, if I like wearing this, let's make something that works like that. So that's that one. Then last night I cast on Project 10, which is this. You can just see it there. Sorry, the window's reflecting in the light from my window's reflecting on the tablet screen there, but it's the Cloud Break by Melanie Berg. Again, again, I'm going to alter it because it's not me if I don't alter a pattern a little bit. So yeah, cast this on last night. So I've started and done, yeah, that's the top, that's the right side, so you can just see the right side there. Not a huge amount. Supposed to have quite a lot of grey before I'd put any colour in. I'm going to be honest, I'm going to be putting colour in sooner because the thought of doing 3 lots of this is not appealing. Again, it's got the butterfly markers actually for my sister on this one. They're both the same actually, they're just not hanging properly. No, they don't want to hang properly there. They don't want to show you how pretty they are. It really doesn't want to show you how pretty it is there. So yeah, also I'm actually slightly short of the grey compared to what it says they need. So the grey is here, and again this is Creative Anarchy that I bought at the Christmas yarn show, knowing I wanted to make this shawl and knowing what I wanted to use for my colour, because unlike the designer who's used 11 different mini skeins, I'm not going to do that, because why would I do that? I'm going to use this. This has been in my stash for years and years, and again I bought it at Woolfest, had ideas for a shawl, never appealed, didn't find the right thing. And this is by Pook. She is now just Pook, not Pook GB. She's actually based in Denmark now, I think she's moved to. So my plan is to start with green as in the first one and have a gradient in my colour work rather than the rainbow that she's put in the design. So I cast that on last night, which so that was just an evening's knitting after work. I wanted something new and exciting, but at the same time didn't want to have to think too much. So I've got 2 more projects to cast on. As I say, the idea is to cast all 12 on by the 31st of January. So I've got a few days. Plan is to cast one on later on today with a view of taking it to Knit Grit this afternoon, and to cast the second one on probably tomorrow when I've got a bit of time at home, because it's going to be a little bit more complicated again, that one. So to reach now because this pile of bags disappeared. This is what I'm going to be using for the one for today, and it's King Cole Cotton Soft. Hold it the right way up, it helps. And they're in white and silver. This is going to be a baby blanket for a friend. I'm actually friends with both her and her mum, probably slightly closer to her mum than her, but I've known her since she's 15 and she's expecting her first baby in the summer. So the idea is to make a blanket. I've got 2.5 balls of silver and 3 and a little bit of balls of white. The half and a little bit are left over from my sister's blanket. Great for baby knitting. I find as a cotton, I find this the best cotton to knit with because it's more comfortable on my hands, and it washes. You can wash it at 40 and it's fine. As I say, the temperature blankets, both my nieces are in this. One I've done for my sister that I showed you earlier is in this. My sister throws them in the washing machine when the kids throw up on them, not a problem. So yeah, my plan is with this is to do entrelac. So do alternating white and grey, rows of white and grey squares. So I say I'm going to cast that on in a bit. I've got a few jobs to do first before I can sit down and do that, but I want to get it cast on and probably get the first row of triangles done before Knit Group if possible. If not, I might be taking something else to Knit Group and doing it this evening in front of the telly. And then my final whip to cast on, I just need to find the picture for. Again, I'm not doing how it says by the designer because that would be sensible. And having these patterns I put in advance would probably be sensible as well. So yeah, we just get a picture that's a bit bigger. So again, sorry, the window's going to reflect the light, but it's this cow. And this is the Tesselo cow by Nikki Griffin, who's Beanie Boat Designs. She's written it for DK and Aaron. I ain't going to use either of those, let's be honest, because this is me. I have got a mystery mini skein set I got from Yarn Badger, and it's these 5 colours. So you can see I've wound them all already. I had a really good spell probably just before Christmas, and I sat and wound everything ready for these projects, which is why I know what I'm going to do. So it's these 5 colours. Not quite sure if I'm going to alternate the colour, if I'm just going to knit 1 mini and then the next mini and the next mini, or if I'm going to alternate a little bit more than that. Haven't decided. I will decide. So as I say, that's her label, and so it was mystery minis, and I've got 520 grams, so 100 grams of that. So I'm pairing that with this 100 gram skein. This is an undyed. It's a merino silk yak, I think. I can't remember exactly. I think that's what it mixture is. I can't remember exactly. I don't seem to have the label here. Probably because I lost it. Because let's be honest, yeah, it wasn't well tied on, I don't think either. I think this was from a warehouse actually. It's one of their ones they do. I think I needed to make up an order. So yeah, I'm gonna hold that with that. I say that's why that's probably tomorrow's cast on, purely because I need a bit of time to concentrate on doing the mosaic knitting with that. So they're my 12 cast ons. Excuse me, just need a drink. Yes, it's a Hurdy mug. Can't beat a Hurdy mug. I love them for my coffees in the morning. So what are my plans? I'd like to do this podcast probably every 2 weeks, I'm hoping for. I may slip to 3, we'll see how my life goes. Life is busy. I work in a clinical setting for healthcare. So I run clinics 5 days a week. It's hectic, as most healthcare is at the moment. I realise I've not told you what I'm wearing. This is the oversized Seasons cardigan. So it's half fisherman's rib. It's come out very, very oversized, mine. I can actually get me and my niece in it, which is a little bit worrying. However, it's in Sheepy's Chunky Monkey, which is 100% acrylic, and I'm not fussed by that. So yeah, I throw it on at home. It's great. It's warm. It hasn't fulfilled the function I wanted, which was a nice grey cardigan to wear when I'm out and about. But I've found other things and I'll make more. It's just an excuse to knit more, isn't it? So my plans for the next couple of weeks, well, obviously I want to get the sock finished. I need to concentrate on my secret project because that's got a deadline of the end of February. I know the sooner I can get that done, it's better. I've done about a third of it, so I've got a way to go on that, but we'll get there. That's a slightly more complicated project, so as I say, I'll have the sock. I'll then probably choose either the hoodie, the hat, something that's quite a simple in the round knit, because even though the hoodie's got a bit of patterning, it's not a lot, to sit alongside those on my sofa, because if everything sits on my sofa, it's great. And I tend to have 2 or 3 projects. So the socks tend to be in my handbag. They're out because I just needed something last night, and I was like, I need to get these done as well. Really want to get them done by the end of the month. Last year I managed to keep up and get 12 done in 12 months, plus some extras, so I'm hoping this year will do the same. What I'm actually doing with my socks this year is I've kind of realised I don't need many more socks. I've got boxes of them that I wear, and some I haven't worn. So what I'm going to do this year is actually put together a box of socks and hats and cowls, scarves. Someone suggested some headbands. But come Christmas, I can say to my friends, okay, rather than me choosing to make something for you, this is a box of things I've made. Would you like to choose something yourself? Just takes the hassle out of trying to get colours right and things for people. So yeah, that's what my socks are doing. So some are going to be bigger than others. And that's alongside having the box of socks ready for my younger niece. Because as I say, she absolutely loves her knitted things. And was very upset at Christmas that the socks I was knitting were not for her. They were too big for her, so we'll make more for her, sure. So yeah, hopefully, as I say, the socks will be finished next time. I think I'd like to get the hat finished as well, really. If I get the socks done, I can get the hat done. Certainly get the Beyond second glove as well. And have some progress on either one of the cardigans or the hoodie. So yeah, hope everything goes well with your knitting and crocheting, and hopefully I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Bye.